What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to replace the engine mount on a MK6 Ford Fiesta 1.6 TDCi. Just a couple of things before we start guys. You may wonder why I'm in the dark. Basically at the start of January I got my a dream job, basically working in a creative media field, which I'm over the moon about, but it meant obviously starting a 9 to 5, so I can no longer do work at the start of the day before work. I used to do a 1-9. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do it after work, and currently because it's January it's dark, so yeah, if you're wondering why I'm working in the dark, that's why. Second of all, I think this is the same across all the Fiestas. Just the 1.6 TDCi, I think it's got just a bit more supporting because it's a diesel, but I think they're pretty much the same, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, but basically the reason I'm going to do it is because I start getting this noise. So yeah, that is a ticking rattle just at idle. It doesn't increase the revs. Spoke to my sister's boyfriend who's a mechanic, and he said it's probably most likely that engine mount, because if you've been following the channel and following how I've been doing my cars, I did the gearbox one when I did the clutch, and I've done the lower one. His videos of me doing them. So basically, yeah, just process of elimination. This is the only one that hasn't been changed, so we're going to go and do it. This is my track Fiesta, which I'm borrowing the mount off because I've got to do a lot of wiring work. That's to come in a video in the future, but yeah, for now let's get on and install this new engine mount. Engine mount is located on the left hand side of the engine underneath the coolant reservoir. There are 3 nuts on the right hand side and 3 bolts on the left hand side. First step, use a 10mm socket to undo the coolant reservoir bolt on the left hand side of the engine bay. Then remove the little top hose using the clips, but be careful as this may make coolant drip into the engine bay. Then you need to remove the bottom coolant hose on the tank. It is a good idea to use a bottle or a tub or something to catch any excess coolant that may come out of the tank. You can then use a long cable tie to secure the coolant tank to the bonnet strut thing on the left hand side. Next, secure the engine with either a jack with a piece of wood to spread the load out. You can then use a 17mm deep socket and a breaker bar to break the nuts loose on the engine side of the mount. Then use a 17mm deep to undo the bolts on the left hand side of the mount. You should then be able to remove the mount. Right guys, so this is the engine mount in question. Now, I don't know if you can see, but you see that huge tear in the rubber there? And I couldn't see that because that would have been in the engine bay like that, and it's really difficult to get a torch in there and that. So round the back, that is, well, way past its sell by date. So the other one is not perfect, but it is on about 16,000 less miles, so it's not as bad because the other car doesn't have the vibration. But really just a cheap, cost-effective way of checking to see if this is the problem, just switching them over will do for now, and I'll in the future get a brand new mount and see if that. But for now, let's go and put the other one in the cart and see if it actually fixed the problem. Then simply take your new mount, or second hand in my case, and put it back in the position. If you're using a jack, it does make this easier, but you basically need to rock the engine into place and line up all the holes on the bolt hand side of the mount. You can then replace all 3 bolts on the bulkhead side of the engine mount, but don't torque them down until they're definitely all aligned. Once this is done, you can then secure the nuts on the engine side of the mount, making sure to torque everything down correctly. You can then remove the weight of the engine from the axle stand or the jack. Right guys, so it's dark, but I'm in the car now. We're going to see if it fixed the issue. So as you can probably hear, the noise is still there. There's a reason why Ford stands for found on rubbish dump! Why couldn't I have been someone that comes home from work and just watches Netflix all evening? I don't know, Ali. Why couldn't you have been someone who comes home from work and just watches Netflix all evening? Because you're a mug! So guys, the noise is still there. On the plus side though, the engine mount change has actually made the engine run a bit smoother. But yeah, something in this car is vibrating. Guys, something in this car is vibrating. Like, it sounds like it's coming from behind the dash, but you can't hear it outside the car. We've just been troubleshooting, but yeah, something in here has got to be vibrating. I've checked every single panel. It is really annoying, and it's only on idle. I just don't get what it could be. I'm literally checking everything on the car. And then, guys, I decided to come under the car while the car was running and have a look to make sure nothing under the underside was loose. And that's what led me to this boost hose right here with the exhaust. You see this bit here, what I'm pointing at? Basically, it turned out that that bit was vibrating on that bit because I hadn't put one of the bolts back from when I did the clutch change, but I don't know why it only started doing it the other week. I feel like it's probably just knocked it out of place. So I put the nut back, or the bolt back. So down there I put the nut back, the bolt back, sorry, but the problem was still there. And I'm like, what the hell is vibrating so loud in this car? So guys, yeah, I was at a complete loss. I was checking everything. It had to be something on this side because this is where the noise was coming from. And I checked sort of everything, but then I discovered something. Look down there. I don't know if the camera will focus, but you can see where I've cable tied it. That boost hose was rubbing, there's a metal bracket, was rubbing on the crash can there. So I cable tied it across to the other boost hose to sort of pull it away from the crash can. And when I rattled it or moved it, you could hear a tick, 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 like that. And I thought, that's sort of the same kind of noise. It's tinny, it's rattly, it's got to be the problem. So I cable tied it like you've just seen there, and I come round and I started the car. And the problem is no longer there, guys. I can't believe that was the issue. That, just all that stress for like this tiniest little thing, it was making a horrendous racket. So if you have the same issue, check everything to do with like anything that where the metal's gone. I honestly thought it was the engine mount because it was just making such a horrible noise, and it was only at idle, and the car felt really vibrant, and it went away when you revved, which would lead you to think it was, but obviously it isn't. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, really annoying that I've wasted like 3 days trying to find that problem. That's not a permanent fix. The cable ties, don't worry about that, guys. I will find a fix. I'll need to fault find and see why that thing moved across. It's probably something, a bolt has come loose or a Jubilee clip or something like that. But yeah, guys, if you have the same rattling problem, well, check this, because this has honestly been like 3 days worth of fault finding, and I'm so glad I got rid of it because it's at idle now. The car is idling nicely and it is so quiet in here. I could not believe how much that rattle was. It was driving me mad. So yeah, guys, this brings us to the end of the video. What turned out to be a guide on how to change the engine mount in a Mark 6 Fiesta has turned into a fault finding journey to try and work out what the hell that rattle was. I don't know if you could hear it in the video earlier in the video, but it is so loud at idle. It was really annoying me, and part of my job, I'm having to sort of sit around and idle at the moment for a couple of minutes to take photos and stuff. And you know, when you're commuting to work, it was just driving me insane. I was having to sit there on power just to make it go away. So yeah, thankfully that, but obviously there's gonna have to be a more permanent fix in the future. But yeah, for now guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting about how to change the engine mount, and if you've got the same sort of rattle, then you know, watch this video. It's a bit